Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. My name is Jonathan Bruson. I am a college coach for Unidos Now and the Future Leaders Academy. And today I'm going to be talking about fly-in programs and how you can apply and what they are. So just a quick table of contents. So first I'm going to talk about what fly-in programs are and just kind of an introduction to that. And then I'm going to be talking about why you should be applying to these programs, how to apply, what kind of materials you need, and any tips, tricks, or advice that I have. So, thinking about fly-in programs, what is a fly-in program? So, it's an overnight visit program for any prospective students that are hosted by several universities across the US. So, these are going to be programs that kind of accept students and fly them out to these schools for them to visit. These programs are specifically for students of marginalized identities. So we're talking racial ethnic minorities, low income, high need students, first generation. They also look for LGBTQ, students with disabilities, and undocumented students. So thinking about um for college coaches, the kind of students that we work with, and for students like the program that you're a part of, you would most likely be eligible for a program like this. And the real thing that I want to point out is the undocumented students part, because most of these programs will accept you regardless of your citizenship status. So these programs usually take place during the fall of your senior year. Some of them are quite special. They take place in the spring of junior year. And these applications are often due in August and early September. So that this summer is kind of when they'll start opening up for seniors and when they can apply. These programs take place at out of state colleges. So to this date, there is no flying program that I know of that is offered within the state of Florida. So all of these are going to be elsewhere, usually like Northeast, the West, like some in California, Nevada, all that stuff. And usually the colleges that host these are quite selective, and they tend to be smaller liberal arts schools. So we're thinking Oberlin College, Amherst College, Middlebury, Washington and Lee and Brandeis. Those are examples. Those aren't the only ones that offer them. There's just those are just a couple of them. And then to look for fly-in programs, the best ways that I've been able to find them are through these websites. So Appley, College Vine, and College Transitions. They have a list of fly-in programs every year, and Appley in particular I really like because they have a table where you can just like scroll through and find programs that you might be eligible for. It shows the dates, it shows how to apply, like all the good stuff. So yeah, that'll be for researching fine programs. Okay, so when thinking about flying programs, why should you apply to these? So the first thing is there's a couple reasons. Biggest thing is exploration and immersion. This is an opportunity for you to go to an environment that you've probably never been to, go on campus and experience it for yourself. It's kind of a sneak peek at what it's like to be a college student, and even more than just going to visit for a day, because these programs are usually a couple days long. So it'll give you the opportunity to kind of fully immerse yourself in a college environment and see what it's all about. So another big thing, these programs are all expenses paid. And so thinking about your flight, food, housing, like all of that is covered. So this is an opportunity, if you get accepted, to basically get to travel for free. So like I think that's a huge plus there, and definitely an opportunity that all of you should be applying for, hopefully. Another thing is when thinking about demonstrated interest. So that's a component that some schools really look for when they receive applications to their schools. So if you show schools that you're very interested in them, whether it's through attending webinars, um, going to college fairs and talking with the admissions officers, or in this case, being accepted into flying programs. That's showing that you're deeply invested in attending the school, and that kind of gives you some brownie points for certain schools. They really like to see that. Think about my personal experience, and I'll cover more of that later on. But I would say most, if not all, of the students that I was in the flying program with, including myself, were accepted to Oberlin College after attending that program. So not to say that it'll guarantee your shot at getting into a particular school, but it does usually help. And then lastly, just thinking about some other benefits. So some of these programs offer application fee waivers. So they kind of look at the demographic that is applying to these programs. And most students that apply to these programs are low income. That's why they have these programs set, because low income students and like first low income students don't necessarily have the means to um take a flight just to go on a campus tour and then come back. Like it's pretty expensive. There's a lot of costs that are associated with that. So application fee waivers is another benefit that they offer for students. There are also potentially opportunities to be interviewed by admissions officers there. So that's kind of putting your foot in the door, getting the admissions officers to know you better in person, which will give you a huge step up in the application process. Okay, so thinking about how to apply, there's a couple materials that you'll need. This isn't a full-on college application, but it is there. There are certain things that they ask for, including an unofficial transcript. So you want to make sure that you go to your college counselor and receive an electronic copy of that, because you'll have to upload that yourself. Most of these programs are SAT, ACT score optional. My general rule of thumb is to look at the school that's hosting this program, look at the statistics, seeing where students that currently attend that university score. So the students that got accepted, like what is like the range of scores that they received. If you fall under that range, I would say go ahead and submit those scores, because it's showing that you are competitive test wise and will only help you with your application. If not, I recommend that you don't. If anything, it's better to not send your scores if you're kind of under that range than to do so, because given the advice that some admissions officers have given me, it's very hard for them to unsee a bad test score from the application. And I promise you that by choosing not to send your test score, that isn't harming your application at all. So then there's going to be usually some writing involved with these programs, and most of these responses boil down to why you want to attend this program, why you want to go visit their school. And the biggest thing that you can do for that is research, and not just the bare bones, like, oh, I want to go because the campus looks nice, it's out of state, I like the weather, it's a prestigious university. Like they know this. They know that they're really good. It's more so talking about why you would be a good fit for that school, for that program, and what about that school really interests you. So if you can find specifics, looking into programs that are unique to that school, if there's any professors that you'd love to work with, that's going to really help with those responses. And of course, getting those done as early as possible, starting to work on those as early as possible with your coaches is going to help a lot. A lot of these programs are also going to ask for financial information, just to show evidence that you are a low income student and you kind of need this program to be able to tour these schools. So things like any taxes that you may have, and any information about the money that your parents make, just to get a general sense of how much your family is making a year. Okay, so a little bit about my personal experience and why I personally love presenting on this, and I'm pushing it to all my students. So I went to a flying program myself back in my senior year of high school. I applied to Oberlin College because I heard, funnily enough, through Unidos Now that they had such a thing, that this was a program that I could apply to, and thankfully I got accepted, and this was an all expenses paid trip for a couple days. And at the time, Oberlin wasn't my top choice. Like I had it in my on my college list. But then I went to go see the school in person, and I just fell in love with it. Like the campus was amazing. I met really cool people there, including people that I'm still friends with to this day, which is really crazy to me, and professors and staff that I got to know through that program, and it made me put Oberlin as my top choice just because I had the opportunity to go on campus, and I could see myself going there at the time. Like it felt like very comfortable to me. And that's why I push for these programs to all my students. I make it required that my seniors apply to flying programs, which if you're a coach, I would recommend that you do that too. Just because by throwing your hat in the ring, like the worst thing they can do is say no. And I think it gives great practice for students, and this is an opportunity to go travel somewhere for free. I mean, I that's like an amazing opportunity to me. So generally thinking about how to like start applying, some students are typically scared of applying either because of like parents or even schools. So one thing I want to put right off the bat that I forgot to mention, these give excused absences. So if you get accepted to the program, they will they will often like write a letter to your school and to your teachers saying, "Hey, this student is going to miss class because of a professional opportunity." So please do not let school be the reason that you don't go for this program, because that is investing in your future. That's a professional opportunity. I promise, like, you're not gonna get in trouble for it. And then thinking about talking to parents, have those conversations with them, both students and coaches, that this is an amazing opportunity to go tour these campuses in person that might not otherwise be accessible to students, just because again, it's very expensive to go fly out somewhere, and cost of food and like hotels and all that stuff. It's expensive. So I think upfront saying that this is an all expenses paid trip will kind of quell some of those nerves, and just be upfront about these programs when talking with parents for sure. But I think you should absolutely all go for these opportunities, even if it's a school that's not necessarily on your college list or on your radar. Go for it anyways. Go in person, see if you like it. If you don't end up um applying to that school, at least you'll make some friends out of it and get that experience of what it's like to be on a college campus for a couple of days. So yeah, please apply to these. This is free travel being offered to students. It's just a matter of applying and getting accepted. All right, that's it for me. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, my email is jonathan@unidosnow.org, and I'm happy to answer any questions about this. But yeah, thanks so much.